What's up, everyone? It's your buddy Jayrassic, and I'm hoping that you are having the best day of your entire life today. And today is a great day because we are going to discuss what everyone else is discussing right now, and that is, of course, birds. That's right, birds. Now, you may recall a video that I released back in, I believe late May, early June, where I predicted that the Africa pack was actually going to be a bird pack from what Frontier posted about a DLC sale referencing birds. And I went off that basis saying, hey, we may not be getting an Africa pack because A, the Africa pack was leaked, so Frontier could easily throw us for a loop and give us birds instead. Obviously, that was over a year, that was slightly under a year ago, and I was dead wrong, which is fine. That's what speculations are about. You could be wrong, you could be right on. That's just the gamble you get with it. But moving on. Now everyone is now talking about birds. Now everyone is saying the next one is going to be birds, or whatever the case is. Well, let me rephrase that. Not everyone is saying that. There's some people out there that are trying to troll the internet saying it's going to be a carnivore pack, which don't get me started on that. But anyways, moving along. It comes down to a couple different marketing strategies. And if Frontier does take this approach, it'd be the smart way to do it. The smart way to do this is to have the 1.9 DLC not be birds. I'll be honest with you. As much as I want to have birds, because I love birds to death up there with reptiles, I do not believe that it would be a bird pack. And this is the reason why. As many people know, that the next big game is coming out in April. And it's been in the works for nearly almost a decade, about 5 to 7 years if I remember correctly, and that is Prehistoric Kingdom. Now, what's the difference between Planet Zoo and Prehistoric Kingdom, you may think, besides just dinosaurs? Well, there is so much more than just dinosaurs versus modern day animals. The difference between Planet Zoo and Prehistoric Kingdom is A, we do not have the pathing problems in Prehistoric Kingdom that we do in Planet Zoo. Thus opens our creativity beyond all imagine for just simple plazas as well as bridges and anything you can imagine. The other thing that's really great about Prehistoric Kingdom over Planet Zoo is the fact that you are able to scale different type items throughout the entire game, whether it be a small fence post to a large wall. You can scale it over and over. You can scale trees. There are some rocks. Everything is scalable, which is something that Planet Zoo does not offer. And of course, swapping out textures, wall pieces, and so forth. Like, for example, you can go ahead and have a complete wall modular system where a building is completely made out of wood, for example. And let's say you're looking at it and you're like, I don't really like that. I want it to be glass, or I want it to be plaster. Well, in order for you to do that in Planet Zoo, you had to delete that whole group or that whole section of wall and put it back in with those other pieces. So you have to replace it. Where Prehistoric Kingdom, all you do is you select what you want to change, and you just change the texture, and boom, you're done. It doesn't take, so if you spent a half hour building a nice building and everything, you're looking at it, I really don't like that brick, I want to change it to limestone. You have to delete it all. Where Prehistoric Kingdom, one click, boom, you're done. So that is another great, huge thing that Prehistoric Kingdom has over Planet Zoo. The last thing that I may mention is the customizability of the custom aviaries. They are very simple. They do have loop animations and everything, but you can change it so then you can have no barriers on it, or you could go ahead and have the system or factory in there, and you can fully customize the interior of these small animal exhibits. And of course, so many more are in development that are down the road. So right there is another exceptional thing that Frontier could easily implement, but hasn't yet. So, nonetheless, back onto the subject of why we're not probably going to get a next DLC. since Prehistoric Kingdom is coming out in April, if they go ahead and release a DLC that is based on birds right now, it would be a waste of marketing strategy. What they should do is they should go ahead and release birds after Prehistoric Kingdom. And like I said, the reason being is so then that way they can regain their fellowship, or at least gain partially of their fellowship of people that have gone over to Prehistoric Kingdom and not Planet Zoo. So, like for example, I mean, I know there's a lot of content creators that are out there that are going to be playing a lot of Prehistoric Kingdom when it first comes out. I know I'm going to be one of them. I'm going to be playing a lot of it. I already got a complete wildlife preserve all planned out for myself. I got the buildings designed. All I need is to just buy that game as soon as it comes out, and boom, I'm set. I already have a park layout, the whole works. So it's going to be a very quick and easy boom, boom, boom. And next thing I know, I'm going to have there's going to be a lot of content creation videos out there on Prehistoric Kingdom for you guys. But I'm not going to forget about Planet Zoo. I have too much time invested in a lot of different projects. I have my reptile gardens. I have the Omaha Zoo, which I've worked on nearly 2 years with, and I barely scratched the surface of it. So with that being said, I'm not just going to abandon it. But at the same token, I am still going to be playing a lot of Prehistoric Kingdom. Now, other people, on the other hand, they'll start playing Prehistoric Kingdom, and they may not want to come back to Planet Zoo. So Frontier has to give a big reason for those players to come back, and one of them is, of course, birds. And the way they'll do that is by dropping that DLC in the 2.0 DLC. That's probably when we'll have birds. Now, next topic at hand is, what are we to expect if a bird DLC was to come about? Well, if we look at the patterns of everything that has came out, with the exception of the aquatic pack, pretty much the last 3 or 4 DLCs have swapped back and forth between scenery and animal, where it's a 4 animal and 1 exhibit with scenery pieces, or an 8 animal and an 8 animal pack. So, if we look at that pattern, we could obviously assume, and again, this is just an assumption, but we could assume that the next DLC would be an animal pack. However, again, Frontier could easily switch that up. The other thing is that we have been looking, and a lot of the DLCs lately have been region or continent type themed. Whether it be, we have the Arctic pack, the North American pack, we have the Australian pack, or Oceanic pack, I guess you call that. They call it the Australia pack. But, then we have Europe and so forth, and Southeast Asia. So, the only one that it was obviously different than that was the aquatic pack. Now, it is very possible that we go ahead and they follow that same theme that they did last year, in the last few DLCs, where they will have a few regions, continents, maybe biomes, whatever the case is. We're not discussing that aspect. But at one point, they'll have a DLC which will be birds. And maybe they'll call it the Avian Pack, or the Flight Pack, or I don't know, something like that. With that being said, they're going to have to implement a lot of different things. And this pack is going to have to be pretty big, again, if they're going to follow my theory, which is they'll release it after Prehistoric Kingdom. And my thought is they're going to have to, I think that what they will do, and Rudy mentioned Rudy Remkemmel, and definitely subscribe to him if you haven't already. He's a great content creator. He's one of the creators with Koali Zoo, which I'm a huge fan of. I love that series. I'm on episode 33 already. But anyways, moving on. He had came out with some really great theories of what could be in the next bird aviary or avian pack, and I truly believe he's on the right track here. For example, he mentioned the exhibits and everything would have the avian type look to it, or aviary like look, and that these would be for like smaller birds with small loop animations and everything. He also mentioned that possibility of walk-through aviaries and stuff like that, and also had a theory of what would be really cool is like for animal talks, that the animal talks could go ahead and have the bird interact with the actual animal talker. or the educator. Just like they do in actual bird shows, where the bird would land on its hand, they talk about it a little bit, and then it flies off. I think that's an actually ingenious idea, and I don't know why I didn't think about it first. But yeah, that would be a great thing for an avian pack to include. At least that would be a good update aspect. But we're going to have to look at different aviary pieces. I mean, let's face it. Right now, what we have is just the mesh, netting and so forth. It's not really that big of a. It's not very avian-like. Let's put it that way. So, one thing that they will definitely need is cables. We're going to have to put in like cable netting itself. And maybe actual chicken mesh, I guess you could call it, smaller type meshes for avian friendly like aviaries. So with that being said, I think that would be a lot of different pieces that they have to include. Now, Frontier could do one or two things. Like for example, if we are going to have habitat like birds that are flyable, they would have to create something that is fairly similar to like what they have with Jurassic World Evolution 2. I will say with Jurassic World Evolution 2, that is indeed a very great concept on how they were able to implement flying birds or flying reptiles into the game. I think that was very well done for the most part. And it works. So with that being said, if we go down that road, or when we should go down that road, I believe that the avian type and aviary or habitat animals are not going to be so much like what we can build habitats now, where we can just build it however way we want. I have a feeling that it's going to be a gridded modular type piece that you can add on, just like they do in the Jurassic World aviaries. Hopefully, if they do go down that road, hopefully, just hopefully, they would go ahead and be able to implement the aspects of allowing null barriers for it. If they don't, it's my opinion, I don't think it's going to be as receptive to the community. So what birds can we expect in this DLC? Well, let's face it, we got our top choices out there. Number one, a lot of people are saying the harpy eagle. The only downside with that is that I don't really know any zoos that have a harpy eagle in it. At least none that I've been to personally. I think there is, actually now I take it back, I think there was one or two. I think there was one down in Kansas. Now I think San Diego Zoo may have one too. But regardless of the fact, that is one. I mean, it is a highly requested eagle or raptor in the game, and so I'm pretty sure that if indeed they do any bird of prey or raptors, they'll probably go down that road. Of course, there's also the bald eagle that's being requested, the golden eagle, and other raptors such as the king vulture, as turkey buzzard. We have falcons. And everything from small kestrels to peregrine falcons to gyro falcons, Harris hawks, red-tailed hawks, Swanson hawks, all across the globe. I mean, people are saying that they want those raptors, and I think it would be a good idea for Frontier to do that. Also, parrots. Parrots are huge in the zoos. Everything from the scarlet macaws to cockatoos and budgies, and even cockatiels. Those type of animals would definitely be fully welcome within the zoo. Other objects or animals would, of course, be not just your normal, I guess, ambient birds. Maybe you could call them finches. Maybe smaller parrots, songbirds, maybe even ground birds, and so forth. In all reality, if they are going to make this work, they will need to have a large spectrum of animals. And I think they would have a larger than normal DLC animal selection than what they honestly provide this day and age. So instead of maybe instead of doing 8 birds, maybe, and again, there's no proof to this, I'm just throwing things out, maybe they'll do maybe 12 animals. And maybe they'll have their standard. Maybe they'll they'll have 12 habitat animals or maybe 3 exhibit animals. Who knows? Like I said, the sky is a limit in the predictability right now. But however, there's a large gap that they need to fill. And by having a larger DLC, Frontier can accomplish that and regain their fellowship from their loss of Prehistoric Kingdom. So with that being said, if they have more animals and everything into the game, I think that's going to be a good big draw. Now, of course, that means the DLC is going to be a little bit more expensive. So instead of paying like $14 or $16 or $9.99 for a DLC, you could be looking at $16. You could be looking at maybe even $19 a deal for this DLC. But regardless, I think that would be an aspect for Frontier to do. The next thing that we want to talk about is what type of features would be included into this type of DLC. And I got a couple of different suggestions here. I believe, again, Rudy had a great idea with the animal educator interacting with the bird, where the bird comes in, flies on the keeper or on the educator's hand. They talk for a while about the bird, and the bird flies off. The only thing is, it'd be hard to do that with different animals of what they're selecting. And maybe they'll just have different skins that they could put on it, whether it be a parrot or a raptor, whatever the case is. So I think that is a great idea. The other thing that I believe that was really great on this, a great idea that I had is, as some of you may know, if you go to some zoos, I know like the Omaha Zoo has one, Kansas City, Minnesota, and I do also believe San Diego Zoo has one where it's like a budgie encounter. What budgies are those small little birds or parakeets and stuff like that, cockatiels that you see in pet stores and stuff like that you can buy for your own home. But everyone still loves feeding these birds, including lorikeets. There's another one for lorikeets I believe you can do in a zoo. But, if these birds will be able to interact with guests in a sense. So, like, for example, maybe they have feed, like, where you can feed the birds. Like, you could have, like, a little seeds on a stick or nectar cups that you can bring that the guests can walk into a walkthrough aviary and be able to feed these birds at these different little perches or stations that would have the birds come to that area. Now, of course, in my eyes, that would probably be more of a loop animation than anything versus somewhat of an AI. I think the coding would be pretty elaborate for something of that nature. So for that to work, I think that the modular walkthrough aviary would be fairly easy to do on that avenue, where the guest walks in just like they do at the restaurant. They walk in and then they appear at the table. So imagine this: they have this little doorway that the guests walk into, and then they appear throughout certain stations of this walkthrough area where it shows them feeding a bird. I think that would be a good aspect for attractivity back into the game. So that's kind of what I think that a lot of things will happen. So in summary, like I said, we could have a lot of different options that may be coming out there about the next bird DLC. It could be anything from a large pack or just our normal regular pack. In all reality, I think that Frontier will stick to their guns of what they've known works in the past. And I think it will resemble a lot of like what the aquatic pack will be. So we will probably get 8 animals plus an exhibit animal in the form of aviaries, if we do go down that road. However, as much as I want them again, I think, like I said, it will probably be in the next 2.0 DLC if we do get it. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below. Put in your bird wish list and all that other fun stuff. What you think animations should happen, what things that you believe that should be in the game, and so forth. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and build, play, and enjoy. Goodbye, everyone. This is Jayrassic signing out. Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and leave a comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. That way you keep up to date with all the content that I release on a weekly basis. You can also follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Steam, Discord, as well as Facebook. Till next time, build, play, and enjoy.